Hello everybody, welcome back to the Fatal 12. Last video I rambled for a good 10 minutes before the video started because it'd been a few days and I'd done a bunch of editing and processing the story and thinking about where things are going. This time I'm not going to do any of that because it's been 5 bloody minutes since the last video because I want to see what happens next. So yeah. Last time Sonia unfortunately got voted out as we knew she would. But she got voted out in a very interesting way, and, you know, I was talking about how characters got to start making some moves. Miharu, of all people, has decided that she's going to start asserting a bit more strategy here, and that's going to lead to an interesting conversation. We have learned her real name. It has been sort of used as a sort of strategy, I guess you could say, to maybe demonstrate to the rest of the court that we're not with Rinka. Also, I just noticed that one gear has a little bit of red filled in for some weird reason, and now it's bothering me. Basically, she wants to give the impression that we're not working together, even though we are. I guess just so that doesn't give them an advantage over us. But we also learned Rinka's cause of death, and I'm wondering if that's going to cascade into a few other things, because again, our cause of death is number 4. Or more specifically, number 4's bomb. And learning that may influence us to, well, knowing Rinka, she's probably going to put more work into researching her own death and regret more than everyone else's, because that's just the kind of pro-tag we're dealing with. Moving on. Oh yes, and we're also still playing as Frederick, who we ended the last video playing as the perspective of at the court. Really getting tired of this text being orange. I still don't know why. It's time to meet up with Odette at the hotel, and I still haven't gotten over my excitement about what happened last night in the dream world. Yo, did you see those? Hey, here, see? Did you see those two last night? Looks like numerals 1 and 2 have had some major issues to work out, huh? I have a feeling Odette's going to be smarter than that. She's going to be like, Frederick, you idiot. Man, there's just something thrilling about watching a falling out like that. Odette makes it obvious how little she cares about listening to me as I ramble on and on. Christ, mind not being this annoying first thing in the morning? All I care about is getting some grub, so let's hit up the buffet. Kind of bored of the selection, but it still tastes good enough to choke down. And here I thought it'd be useful info for whenever we decided to target them. After saying that, I finally noticed that Odette's in a rotten mood. You just noticed that now? It's Odette. The excitement I got from their little quarrel made me forget all about what actually happened during last night's election. Yeah, but you enjoyed having her get put in a rotten mood. That Miharu kid ain't to be taken lightly, especially since she beat me to the punch. She might look annoyed, but here's the thing. Her voice makes her sound a little thrilled by it. Yeah, she's having fun. This little game's finally getting interesting. I agree with that. I don't think I'll ever understand this monster's logic. Hey, that's my logic. Not after this outburst and what she did to that Russian brat. Oh, what did we do to the parents? What happened there? Did they get to spend some time together? I guess everything got undone anyway. I can say one thing for sure, though. She ain't the only one who thinks things have finally gotten interesting. She's not. Because I think that too. I don't care what you think, Federico. And that's why we're spending 2 seconds on your perspective and then going back to Rinka. For the first time in a few days, I'm all alone when I wake up. My eyes feel dry. That leads me to believe I was crying in my sleep. I really am a weakling. I can't deny that I enjoyed the time I spent together with Sonia. Being with her helped me to take my mind off the pressure of divine selection. I do my best to hold back any more tears as I make my way over to my desk. Do we have new cards? I pick up my card book and peer at the card I obtained last night. It's the card that Miharu revealed to every participant in order to earn the right to eliminate Sonia. Hebinata Miharu. Hebinata. What's that gonna mean? Yeah, again, last video we went a little bit long, but some fun stuff happened. We now know Miharu's card. This is why we didn't have her card before, because we didn't know her real name. Hebinata Miharu. That is what's written on Miharu's name card. The surname doesn't ring any bells, but considering her family situation, I can guess what happened. Is this just indicative of the whole nonsense? What's more, Miharu obtained my cause of death card last night. Information that even I don't know the full details of. Her actions last night left me visibly shaken, which led her to take on a cold attitude toward me. Maybe at the court she's going to be cold. I can't help but remember what she said. I have nothing more to say to you at the moment. I see what you're doing, Miharu. After making that comment, I get ready for school. After saying that to the room, I get ready to go to school. And I'm back. Oh, never mind. I leave the TV on as I do so, which is how I come to learn some interesting news. Is this going to be about Sonia, or is this going to be something unrelated? Wait a minute. Apparently a suspicious-looking bag was left on one of the Yamanote line trains near Shibuya Station. The police initially suspected it to be an attempted terrorist attack, but after inspections, the bag turned out to be empty. Why is this interesting? And is it going to be the same bag? Because she mentioned, again, reviewing the videos, I noticed that Rinka may not remember number 4, but she noted the bag and the little keychain hanging off it. Is that gonna trigger some memories? Part of me wonders if one of the Divine Selection participants might have been involved, but based on the reports, I can't think of any links to them. Ouch. As I listen to the report, I suddenly get a pounding headache. Are we just going to get a pounding headache every time something happens that we should know about or that triggers those remaining memories and stuff? I feel like Kanami Date from Somnium Files. I start to feel stressed out and exhausted, both physically and mentally. I must have imagined the grisly scene of a terrorist attack unconsciously while watching the news. Thanks to all that excitement, it seems like the trains are running late. I make sure to head out earlier than usual. So that just happened? Because that would be interesting if we're seeing a report from 3 weeks ago. Well, we're going to come back to that. Oh, Rinka! Haven't seen you in a while. I bump into Naomi on my way into school. I don't think she was even in the last video. Was she in the video before that? I think we told Naomi to kind of not help us, so we haven't seen her in a bit. I never see her in the morning because she always comes earlier than me, but I guess the trains delayed her enough today. Oh, okay. She notices me first, so she spins her body around to face me. Doesn't that mean I'm behind her? How did she notice me? Oh, never mind. She just decides to fall over instead. Except the spin is so sudden that it causes her to lose balance, because it's Naomi. Careful! I quickly grab her hand and support her so she doesn't fall. It's been a while since I last saw one of Naomi's tripping scenes. And then again, it's been a while since I last saw Naomi, period. Sorry about that. As clumsy as ever, aren't you? She struggles to hide her embarrassment as she props herself back up. How are preparations for the cultural festival coming along? I was going to ask if that happened yet. So, I guess. We still haven't decided what to do for interior decorations and all that. Oh, but I did make sure to prioritize passing on what you taught me about brewing coffee. Everything's going well on that front. Glad to hear that you're doing well. Hard to believe the cultural festival's next week, all things considered. Is that going to factor into something too? Golden Week kind of factored into the story as well. Is something going to happen? I'm not even sure how things are going with my own class right now. I might end up helping them out with something the day of, but for now I've no idea whether or not things are progressing well. You have other things to worry about, so don't worry. How are things going with... Just as Naomi is about to say something, a voice calls out to me from behind her. Hi, Miharu. And you too, Naomi. Miharu has just arrived, it seems. As always, her hair flutters elegantly in the wind. She speaks to me like normal, almost as if what happened in the dream world last night never took place. I do my best to follow along, considering Naomi's presence. Miharu, sorry, but I better make my way to class before the bell rings. Yeah, I guess she knows that we're both involved in this, huh? Doesn't want to be awkward. Oh, we'll go with you. She skitters off toward the building before I can finish my sentence. Looks like she really is avoiding me. I struggle to find an appropriate response. However, she removes that burden from me by making the response herself. Well, I can't blame her. After all, I'm the one responsible for her evasiveness. Huh? Did something happen between you two? Oh? Not to worry. It's nothing major. We should be on our way as well, though. We'll be late for class. Someone touched on this earlier, too. Was it Mao? Did Miharu say something to get Naomi to avoid us, or... Because Miharu obviously doesn't want Naomi getting caught up in this. Hold on, I still got to talk to you about last night. And here I thought I'd be able to distract you from that topic. I plan on going to Lion House after I finish my shift tonight, so can it wait until then? You never intended to talk about it here, did you? Her smile upon hearing my question is enough of an answer for me. She's fully aware that I want to talk about last night's events. The flood of students pouring into school eventually forces us to ride the wave with them. I'm just imagining them on surfboards. Time for lunch, Rinny! Mao darts over to my desk as soon as the bell for lunch break rings. Ah, she's awake. I skipped breakfast today, so I'm starving. This woman has zero routine. Don't you always skip breakfast? Anyway, let me get Miharu first. Don't bother. She's been called to the teacher's lounge to talk about her scholarship funding. How'd you miss her being asked to go out there in the first place? Oh, now that you mention it, that did happen. You zone at the weirdest times, you know that? Well, whatever. Just you and me today, sister. She grabs my hand and drags me along to the cafeteria. Well, how's this conversation going to go? Oh? Not sticking with your staple bread today? No, I feel like trying something new. You're not having your usual either. Well, I grabbed this since it'll go well with that delicious-looking rice you've got there. Mao has opted for I don't even know what that is. Karage this time around, while I've gone with curry. We don't normally go for this kind of stuff since we need to carry it all the way to the rooftop, but I wanted something with a strong flavor today, so I picked this without too much thought. Kind of surprised you went with curry. I figured you weren't a fan of spicy stuff. Hey, Simon's a fan of spicy stuff. I've been asking for spicy for 4 videos now. And I got it last video. Nah, I'm fine with both spicy and sweet stuff, so long as they don't go overboard with it at least. Yeah, that's what I thought. Mao nods her head multiple times in an attempt to seem all-knowing. I dismiss it with a smile. As I smile, I remove the packaging on my curry. If I don't do it now, odds are I might actually forget to eat while talking with Mao. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Looks like I'm not the only one who ain't all here today. What makes you say that? Well, your lack of a spoon for one thing. Oh. You can pick up chopsticks and spoons at your leisure in the cafeteria, but it completely slipped my mind that I'd need one. All I have is a small hand towel. Well, time to eat like a dog. Allow me to offer you a trade, then. She produces a plastic spoon from within the plastic bag she hands with her. She hands it over to me in exchange for my towel. Also, thou shalt address me as Queen Mao. Queen Mao, I am grateful that you bestowed this spoon upon me. I'd have preferred if you were just a teensy bit hesitant. Looks like she was banking on me being not too pleased about having to bow down to her like that. I'm not entertaining you, Mao. I got other things to worry about. I figured that it was going to be your ultimate demand. That's why I just said it right up front. Damn, though. You would have had to eat that with your bare hands like they do with Indian curry if it weren't for me. Just hearing the word Indian causes Alan to pop up in my mind for a brief moment. Fortunately, her joke is a bit on the extreme side, so my involuntary action works for her too. I end up spending all of the lunch break chatting away with Mao. Just as we're about to finish eating, she brings up a topic I don't expect. Ah, here we go. I was about to say, we're just going to breeze through this. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you, Naomi's got her mind on you a lot these days. Don't think you noticed it, though. I ask her what she means, but she waves off my question and continues. Yeah, what's Naomi doing? What's she been up to? Has she been doing research without me? Gotta say, only a girl in love can make the face she did. Oh, is everyone in love with me like I thought? Come on, game. We're gonna do this, or the ending's gonna be tied to love interest, just like, again, Steins Gate? Oh, shut it. Now you're just being rude to her. Fine, you can believe whatever you want, but she's been looking awfully lonely ever since you started to neglect her. Hey, that's not fair. She told me that she's been busy with preparations for the culture festival, so I'm giving her some space. Thing is, Naori ain't like Miharu. She's the kind of gal that'll keep her desires locked up inside. Anyway, you've been looking pretty rough for a while now, Rinny. How about getting some proper rest? The group just isn't the same when you're not your usual perky self. Like today, for instance. Not only did you forget to grab a spoon for your curry, but you haven't even noticed that you got it smeared all over your face. Oh, you're gonna have to bargain for your towel back. She opens the pack containing the towel I traded for her spoon and hands it to me. Aw. I bequeath to you this towel, and in recompense you will once again refer to me as Queen Mao. My everlasting gratitude, Queen Mao. Ah, not again. And yep, guess I do have curry plastered all over the left side of my mouth. Mao's probably right. Everything that's happened recently has left me mentally exhausted. Even so, I doubt I'll be able to get any proper rest in the near future. After all, granted, I'm aware that you won't take any advice given by this fine piece of royalty to heart. This girl. Mao jams her trash into the plastic bag before standing up. At the very least, you should do what feels right to you. Thanks. I am genuinely grateful to hear that from her. There's no way she could know about divine selection. Not even Miharu would divulge that sort of thing to her. And that's okay. That's how it should be. That's exactly why her words are such a relief to hear. I'm still wondering. I gotta go back and review. I haven't reviewed video 6 yet. But that bit about Sonia hiding something behind her smile, what was that all about? Is that something I avoided by making different choices? Or is that something that's going to come up later? I'm still curious. That's still hanging in the air. Alright, well, do me a favor and check this. I gotta go bother Miharu. She hands me the plastic bag and takes her leave. Once she's gone, I finish up my own lunch before following her lead. Alright, we gotta have a conversation with Miharu. After class ends for the day, I head out of school with the intention of going home. However, once I reach the gate, knew it, I noticed Naomi leaning against the wall with her eyes cast down. She doesn't seem to have noticed me, so I call out to her. Oh, Rinka, I was waiting for you, actually. You were? What happened with preparations for the culture festival? I told you about how we haven't decided on interior decorations this morning, right? Well, there are other issues. Our budget won't allow for us to buy lots of coffee mugs and plating, so we decided to use plastic cups. That's why we thought it would be best to at least make sure the coasters and such are nice and cute. So, would you mind going with me to shop for them? Only if you have the time, of course. Budget probably isn't their only issue. I doubt they have enough people to wash mugs one by one. Why would you not have disposable cups? Why would you ever consider mugs for something like that? It's probably best that they stick to disposable plastic ones anyway. What with all the hygienic issues to consider at such events? I happen to know a place that has exactly what she needs, so I don't see any harm in taking her there. Okay, Sophia/Sonia interrupting or interfering with our ability to do research and stuff on other contestants, participants, whatever, is one thing, but Naomi in particular should know better. Look, I know that you're in love. I know everyone is in love with the protagonist because that's how these games work, but let me do things. Leave me alone. I won't see Miharu until later tonight anyway, so it'll be fine as long as I keep track of the time. Sure, I don't mind. You should have messaged me instead of waiting like this, though. I didn't want you to feel like you had to cancel any other plans, so if you're busy, then please do prioritize that. She trails off, drawing her eyes away from me. It's my fault that she's acting this way around me, so I can't exactly brush her off. Come on, you don't need to worry about that. I know a good place in Shibuya, so let's head there. Alright, thank you very much. Ohayo gozaimasu. That wouldn't have been an Ohayo gozaimasu. That would have been an arigato gozaimasu. With that, we make our way to the station. I got the voices turned down too far. I couldn't hear it. After we finish our shopping trip in Shibuya, we hop on the train to head home. Are we going to hear a little bit more about this bag? That was, again, you throw that information out there, it's got to come back up. At Shinjuku, we have a little downtime while we wait for our transfer to arrive. Are we going to see number 4? This was a comical thought I had. I didn't want to bring it up because it was nonsensical, but it occurred to me, okay, if number 4 is some sort of suicide bomber, and maybe she's not, or they aren't, because we still don't know if it's a guy or a girl, maybe the bomb just went off by accident and they were going to plant it somewhere else. Who the hell knows? But it was still their bomb. Are they going to go around bombing stuff knowing that they can't die from bombing because they're in this game? That would be weird, but technically possible? I don't know. I have a feeling we're going to find out what number 4 has been up to now. We've had our vignette with Sonia. It's time to move on to someone else, and it's I have a feeling number 4 is getting their turn. At Shinjuku, we have a little downtime. Read that already. There's the arigato gozaimasu. Thank you so much. I didn't expect to leave there with so much. Hey, glad I could help. Oh, we've got space on the left. There's space on the left. That's where the girl showed up before. Hey, glad I could help. Naomi struggled to make a decision in the store, so she ended up picking 3 different items for each category. Her plan is to show them to the rest of the class and then decide on what to use. I gotta hand it to you. You're killing it as the class rep. Color me impressed. No, not at all. I'm only doing it because no one else volunteered. Yeah, you're a pretty meek class rep. which is why I'm so impressed with how seriously you're taking it. She must have felt her face burn a bright red as she diverts her gaze from me immediately. From what I've heard, it sounds like she's getting along with her classmates as well. I wouldn't be surprised if her taking charge of the cultural festival played a part in that. Considering how scared of me she was when we first met, she's definitely come a long way. I guess that makes her the exact opposite of me. Fill that space over there. Where's number 4? Just as we're about to get on the train, she stabs me with a sharp glare. And then she leans in and whispers, "Here we go." Look, over there. Is it going to be number 4, or is the game going to surprise me? Is it going to be number 9? I knew it. Here we go. Time for the reunion. She motions towards someone in the distance with enough subtlety to prevent bringing us any undue attention. That silver-haired person seems suspicious. Silver hair? Let's see. Oh, her! Are we going to have the misunderstanding again? The her, him? Because now it seems like they're in their him look. And now we're saying her. Is that going to be because of a flashback? My shoulders stiffen the moment I spot her. Her train hasn't arrived yet, so... Naomi, you head back first. Just a moment. Judging by your reaction, I assume that's another participant? I don't recall you mentioning there being 2 children. Yeah, 2 children. Who's the other children? Us? I mean, she wouldn't be referring to Keiko. I don't think she's met anyone else. I mean, obviously aside from Miharu. Numerals. Yeah. Did she meet Sonia? I can't remember. But yeah, 4 and 10 to be precise. 10's been eliminated, which only leaves 4. I happen to have her cause of death card, but other than that, I don't know a single thing about her. I'd chalk up her appearance here as a coincidence, but that'd probably be a mistake. Yes! Not only have Sonia and Alan turned up in Shinjuku, but now she has 2. There's got to be a reason. The foggy spots in my mind, memories regarding my cause of death and what Parka explained at our initial meeting, are likely linked to the same reason. Sonia touched on this too. She was talking about how they were going to take a trip to Tokyo. Are we all converging here? I mean, I imagine that we'd converge here anyway because most of the participants seem to be Japanese. And you would want to research these people if possible. But again, there was that comment that Parka made and that Sonia elaborated on that we were all going to converge here in 12 weeks anyway. What's gonna be the significance of that? I shouldn't waste my time trying to figure that out right now, though. Rinka, are you listening? Sorry, I lost in thought. How do you know her anyway? I'm not sure why, but he seems familiar for some reason. Again, Naomi is saying he, and Rinka is saying her. Naomi's having the flashbacks to the explosion. She remembers the fire, because she dreams about it, but her memories of this person seem to be a little bit more subconscious. Plus, I had a rough image of what he'd looked like based off your description. Wait, her? Is that a boy? Yeah, same conversation we had back in episode 1. You think? Looks awfully feminine to me. Haven't we had this conversation before? Yes, we have. Yes, we have. Either way, their gender isn't the point here. Are they just going to sneak up behind us? They haven't noticed us yet, so we should tail them now while we have that advantage. Wait, if they haven't noticed us, how did we notice them? Naomi just decided they looked suspicious. Is that just because they look familiar? The tone of her voice matches the serious expression on her face. The more information you can get your hands on, the better. Oh, sorry, I shouldn't butt in like this anymore. Don't worry about it. I was just thinking the same thing, to be honest. I asked that you head home first because I was going to do it on my own. Sorry for being unclear. Her gaze falls to the floor, and after a moment of consideration, she nods. I'm well aware of the dangers involved, so I'll do as I'm told, but remember that I'm always willing to help. If you manage to snap a picture of them, I can use that to do my own research from home. Not a bad idea. Just hearing that is relief enough, thanks. Be careful, okay? I respond with a firm nod before we part ways. Sorry, Naomi. I apologize to her under my breath as we split up. Next, I pick up my pace to keep the girl in sight. Snapping a picture probably isn't the worst idea. After 30 minutes of tailing her, we finally reach what seems to be her destination. What's this "we" stuff? Upon leaving Shinjuku Station, she takes the Chu line all the way to a residential district. Judging by her familiarity with the area, she must live around here. She certainly doesn't look Japanese, but there aren't any hotels around here. That means she probably isn't here on holiday with her family, unlike Sonia. How does she's going to recognize us tracking her, isn't she? Everyone always recognizes when they're being tracked in this game. That leaves only one alternative. It's hardly surprising, though. Lots of foreigners live in this area. Okay, here we go. She stops in front of it. She stops in front of and then makes her way into one of the houses. The tense of this is curious. Going back to that "we" from a moment ago, are we playing from someone else's perspective? Did someone else follow both her and Rinka? Am I Frederico right now? Seems like a pretty old place, other than the houses around it anyway. Another thing that makes it stick out is how run down it is. A decent earthquake could probably shake it down with ease. Okay, so yeah, we are Rinka. I'm hardly a pro when it comes to tailing people, but I think it's safe to say that I wasn't noticed. There's no need for me to escalate things yet, so I check out the nameplate at the entrance after making sure she's gone inside. It's a bit faded, but not enough to make it illegible. Ushizuka. Okay, Ushizuka. Safe to say that's the surname of this house's owner. Does the same apply to her, though? My instinct says no. In fact, it's entirely possible that she's squatting in an empty house for some temporary lodging. Ducking behind the wall of the house next door, I tries to eavesdrop on any conversations going on. Lucky for me, I'm able to hear something. Nothing specific, but the walls are thin enough to leak out the voices from inside. Wow, there's no way we don't get busted for this. Seems like there's at least two people inside. One is likely the girl, but the other sounds like an old man. Oh, is it going to be number 5? Are they going to be together, working together, related? Could just be any old guy, but still. I'd guess that the latter owns this place, which means the girl's probably staying with his permission. I wonder, does my card book work with conversations involving someone who isn't a participant? Considering I was able to hold a conversation with that one tourist before I even knew anything about divine selection, it's probably safe to assume it does. Why did you say that out loud? It's my best option for now, especially when I can't make out exactly what they're saying. Just as I am about to walk away, a passerby starts talking to me. Here comes trouble. She's in her early 40s and is carrying a bag from the supermarket. I assume she's out buying things for dinner. I'm going to get heard. Oh, or we're going to get some info. Okay, hang on. Let's gamble here. Am I going to get a choice? Am I going to get a choice and that's going to gamble? Are you an acquaintance of Mr. Ushizaka? Not quite, no. I'm taken aback at first, but she might know something about that girl if she lives in the area. When did that foreign child start living here? Oh, I see that's caught your attention as well. Her face twists into a sly grin in addition to her response. I know her type. That's the exact same expression made by the kids at school when they gossip about others. No one's certain why, but at some point he just cut off ties with the outside world. He rarely leaves the house, so for a time rumors kept spreading about how he'd starved himself to death. But then we'd notice him lurking around and carried on with our lives. Doesn't help that cases of old folks dying all alone are on the rise too. But anyway, people first noticed that girl about a month or so back. Rumor has it that there are some dubious circumstances between them. In fact, some say that he used to frequent certain illicit establishments, and that's his child. Oh, goodness me. I shouldn't be telling such a young lady such things. That's funny. The look on her face practically screams that she wants to keep going. So no one knows who she really is? That's right. All sorts of bad rumors surrounding that man, including his nefarious deeds abroad, so no one wants to get too involved. Of course, nobody wants to risk earning his wrath by reporting him to the police, either. I've even heard rumors about how the girl has some sort of illness, which is even more reason for folks to keep their noses clean. So we might have some... No, wait, we know her cause of death. What am I talking about? You're probably best off not getting involved either. Thanks for the concern. Just listening to her gab on and on has pissed me off. I won't judge anyone for hazarding a guess about something, but using it as an excuse to spread unsavory rumors about him feels wrong. Plenty of older people live by themselves, so why would they make comments about at his expense about it? Having given her my thanks, I use it as an excuse of my own to cut the conversation off there. My hunch seems to have been on the mark, at least. I might be able to find something out about that girl if I talk to him. I should head home for now, though. I've still got the store to attend to. Alright. Getting some leads. Uh-oh. Is something going to happen on the train again? We've had some bad history with this train. I make sure to message Naomi on the train home. I assume she's worried about me, all things considered. No point giving an in-depth report, so I just text a quick summary. It doesn't take long for her to reply, telling me to get in touch if I need help. She said something similar when we split up, too. Something's definitely suspicious about the situation between those two. I'm curious about her thoughts on the matter, but that would just invite the same gossip as that lady. I need to handle this on my own. It's down to me to gather as much info as I can. Instead, I simply reply with an "it's all good," to which she responds with an emoji. I need to handle this on my own. It's down to me to gather as much information as I can. Did I not literally just say that? Well, time for some Miharu talk. I prepare to open the store as soon as I get back. A few people swing by, but no one stays for too long because it's a weeknight. Once 9 p.m. rolls around, I close up shop. Miharu stops by around then, just like she said she would. Yeah. Well, time for this discussion. Hey yourself, let me grab you some coffee. Thanks. Should you be really giving out freebies, though? I nod and follow up by telling her that we might be here a while. After making enough for the both of us, I move over to our usual table. That way we don't have to change the CG. Is it safe to assume you're looking to confirm certain things with me? Yeah. She wastes no time in getting to the meat of it. She takes a sip of her coffee before going on. As delicious as ever. Thanks, but let's not get off topic. That night when I caught you and Sonia discussing something, it was about my cause of death card, wasn't it? Yep, I bet you hadn't anticipated her being in possession of one of your cards. She didn't keep it a secret with any bad intentions, though. Apparently she just didn't want you to suspect her even more. I can't blame her, considering how I acted when we first met. Anyone in your position would have done the same. That's why I made it a point to confirm with her whether or not she had any of our cards. As it turns out, she also had your name card. Right, she mentioned that she regretted her choice, that it would have been better to have thrown her fear of not being trusted away and just told us the whole truth. That sounds just like her. No argument there. It's almost upsetting just how innocent that girl was. I guess my suspicions about her illness were off the mark, but I still want to know what she was hiding. Memories of us sitting together at this very table come flooding back. It was like we were nothing more than 3 friends hanging out. You know that numeral 11 is looking to eliminate as many people she possibly can, so I wanted to make sure she couldn't get her hands on my card. Well, she got her hands on your card anyway, now didn't she? More importantly, though, the prospect of her snatching up your card terrified me. Ah, that would have been... okay, alright. And that's why you opted to eliminate Sonia instead. I hesitate to press the issue any further. Mainly because it involves questioning how she can be so calm and collected in the face of all this. It's entirely possible that I'll hear something I don't want to if I ask. And yet, I end up asking her anyway, yeah, what's on the card? Oh, never mind. How can you stay this calm after her elimination? Did it mean nothing to you? Is there any need to waste my time feeling upset? I can't bring myself to snap anything back to her. That's the exact response I was afraid I'd hear. It's not like I don't understand her point. I know that there's no point in being upset. You honestly have no issues taking that stance? I don't. My course was set the moment I learned that you're a participant. My life exists solely for yours now. I wish you'd stop saying that. I've heard it more times than I ever wanted. I can't help but be blunt. While I expected such a reply, it's still not the one I wanted to hear. I don't have it in me to say anything more, though. It's barely been a day since it happened, so I can understand why you're distraught. In fact, your ability to worry like this is one of your stronger points. The tone of her voice doesn't falter. We should probably wrap up for the night, although, would you mind if I stayed a bit longer? I haven't gotten to finish my coffee yet. I feel like we still have more questions. My only response is a quick nod. Just as she said, I'm still distraught over what happened. What's worse, I seem to get more aggravated at night. I end up waiting for Miharu to finish her coffee. I can't bring myself to look her in the eye during that time. Not even once. Well then, I should be going now. Mind waiting for a minute? I stop her just as she gets ready to walk out. There's still one important question left for me to ask. Yeah. Your previous surname was Hebinata, right? I know there have been issues at home and stuff, but I was always curious why I didn't have your name card, and then it triggered with Hibinade Miharu rather than Mishima Miharu, so... I'm Mishima Miharu on my family's registry, just so you know. Yeah, so... It creates a whole lot of doubt for me when it comes to the criteria for creating new cards. Yes, and those doubts aren't unfounded. Our lovely little goddess seems to have skimped on her explanation related to the process. You could call it a loophole of sorts. I managed to catch the brief glimpse of sadness in her expression. There's no doubt that she's not very comfortable discussing this topic, and yet she's doing her best to act unfazed for my sake. I make no effort to stop her, though. She knows that I've noticed, which is why she's bothering to explain it in the first place. First things first, I need to apologize for not telling you the truth. Her expression grows more pained as she says that. I feel kind of bad about it, so I can only imagine how she feels. The only way I can explain it is by divulging even more about myself. I said that my surname became Mishima after my parents got divorced, but, well, that's not quite right. You know full well that my mother isn't the greatest person in the world. In fact, let me make it clear that I loathe her. She's talked to me about her mom before, albeit briefly. About her habit of wasting money and her failure to do any chores, for instance. That's why Miharu has several part-time jobs and has to deal with the household chores as well. Unlike most students at Amica, she's far from financially sound. The only reason she can attend is due to her scholarship. If I had things my way, I'd take my father's surname, but alas, I'm stuck with this one. I sense that there's a lot more to this than what she's telling me. It's likely that everything she's suffered through links back to whatever that could be. You'd think that the rules pertaining to our individual cards would be grounded with logic, but that isn't the case. In fact, they seem to rely far too much on one's personal perception. You can't make blind guesses when it comes to someone's cause of death and regret cards. Knowledge of the events surrounding them is a requirement. Each participant's perception of those events takes priority. In other words, there's no universal criteria in place for participants when it comes to creating new cards. That's Miharu's point. Does that tie into Sonia's illness? Because again, we never got into the details of that. In my case, I've yet to accept that my name is really Mishima Miharu. That's why your name card is Hibinata Miharu instead. Considering our cards are linked to the dream world, a deep part of the psyche, I really must be against taking on the Mishima name. Then it might be a lot more logical than you think. Think about it. No one's born with a name. It's on someone else to give them one. Those names aren't set in stone either. If it weren't for Keiko, I probably would have agreed with Miharu. But now, this is truly how I feel. Surnames change all the time due to marriage. Not only that, but you can even get it changed legally if so inclined. It's not always cut and dry like that, sure, but names are still something that reflects a person's individuality over all else. Naruhodo. I certainly hadn't thought about it that way. Perhaps my concern about my name was obstructing my outlook on the bigger picture. That's a bit of an exaggeration. Still, I feel like my doubts have been cleared up. Sorry for the confusion. Nah, don't worry about it. We've all got our baggage. You'll always be the same Miharu to me, regardless of what happens. She giggles with a smile in response to my proclamation. And it's not a forced smile either. It's sincere, one of relief. While slightly off topic, I was worried that you would start to avoid me after what I said in the Court of Fate. Really? I knew exactly what you were doing. Assuming things went as planned, then some of the other participants may be giddy over how we got into a big fight. I have nothing more to say to you at the moment. The other participants must have figured out that our friendship because of how we'd been talking to each other since the very first election. In fact, Sonia assumed that we were friends from the start, too. The timing couldn't have been more perfect. Indeed, regardless, I really should be on my way. Why is this a choice? I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, take care. This is ominous. I feel like this is the first choice that actually matters. Why is this coming up? Okay, take care. I'm tempted to say take care because I like saying take care anyway. It's just part of my vernacular. One of these have a consequence. I can feel it, but I'm going to go with okay, take care for now because I don't really have an understanding of what's at stake. She tilts her head at my reply, but opts to make a quick exit rather than ask about it. Why would she ask about it? Why would she ask about it? Why would she ask about it? Funny. I make coffee thinking we'll be talking for a while, but the real conversation only began after we finished drinking it. I take a moment to stare at Miharu's empty cup before getting back to my usual routine. Are we not going to see her tomorrow? It's still Monday, right? Okay, it's Tuesday morning. I slept so soundly last night that I didn't even dream. Dreams. Hard to believe such a concept has taken on a whole new meaning for me. I'd never considered the possibility of a whole other world existing within our dreams. Not to mention a goddess like Parka coming along and connecting me with others through said world. I mean, who can imagine meeting complete strangers within your own dream? It'd be a romanticized situation if this were a shoujo manga, I'm sure. I cast my mind back to the other participants' appearances. That's when I remember something You're going to remember the bag, aren't you? The bag. Remember the bag. Ah, okay. One's an old man. Was I right? Do number 4 and number 5 know each other? Naomi's message from yesterday springs to mind. She said that there's definitely something suspicious about that girl and where she's staying. It's not just any old man either. He's Japanese. Okay, now we're jumping to conclusions. We need to see this person before we say this for sure. Oh, or maybe they don't know each other, but they started working together like some of the rest of us have been doing. Why would she reach out to him, though, or connect with him? How do they know each other? And what have they been doing? They ain't done squat. That man is numeral 5. I might be onto something. Actually, I should have caught on right away. There's still plenty of time before I need to be at school. I want to try something. My decision made, I make my way to the old man's house. Maybe she recognized his voice? Fortunately, I make it all the way without getting lost. It's a pretty tricky route after all, but jotting down the address yesterday turned out to be worth it. But I probably would have been fine without it, considering I've somehow managed to memorize the route. This is it. I make sure to keep some distance away to avoid looking suspicious. It may be early in the morning, but people are still passing through. Once the area empties out, I check inside his mailbox. I feel pretty bad about doing this, but it's necessary. I was wondering about that too, because if we get the last name, I was thinking to myself, could it be that we get 5's name instead of 4's? There are a slew of letters in here, definitely more than a day's worth. Most of them are from debt collectors. Not just from one collection agency either. There are multiple different senders. I ignore all of that, grab a random letter, and remove it from the box. I want to see who it's addressed to, of course. There we go. So, Ushizuka Shigetsu. Shigetsugu. Ushizuka Shigetsugu. That has to be the name of the old man living here. Yes, but is it number 5? Just to be sure, I check a few other letters as well. They all cite the same name. All that's left is to get a glimpse of his face. I consider waiting for him to leave the house, but I need to remain mindful of the time. As important as this is, I still have school. No. This is important. Helps that I'm probably safest there, too. Just as I decide to stick around for as long as I can, I notice 2 figures in the distance. 2 figures that I recognize. One male, the other female. Oh. Both are foreigners and tall. Odette and Federico, are they taking a stroll? Because they wouldn't be both foreigners if it was number 4 and 5. It's number 3 and 11, isn't it? Yep. There's still plenty of distance between us, so I can't make out their faces. Not that I need to. I can tell it's them based on their silhouettes. Not only are they participants, but they're also the most dangerous duo by far. Yep. 3 and 10. Federico Carminati and his partner that we don't know the name of yet. I instinctively duck for cover. They have to be targeting the girl. Either that, or they're looking into the relationship between her and the old man, just like I am. Assuming he turns out to be a participant, it's likely they've tracked him down to here. Numeral 11 is carrying a notepad. I assume she's gotten hold of his address somehow. In that case, they must be coming for him instead of the girl. After all, she wouldn't be listed as living here. Just as I'm deciding whether to stick around or head to school, the front door gets propped ajar. Noticing this, the duo duck into a nearby alley. From what I can tell, Numeral 11's the one who prompts them to do so. That surprises me. She seems like the kind of person to leap in when the opportunity presents itself, so I don't expect her to tread carefully. Old man? Both the girl and the old man are likely aware of the situation they've put themselves in. Are they aware of the situation they're in this very moment? So it's only natural for them to scout out their surroundings before they leave the house. Deciding that the coast is clear, erroneously, the door swings open. Light pours out of my bag all of a sudden. The moment that old man steps out of the house, in fact, that's when I become certain. Yep, there we go. Okay, so number 5 has joined the game. Still number 9. Yeah, number 5 has joined the game. Still number 9 is just a complete and total no-show. All right, well, I was wondering who the next vignette would be about. Turns out it's both 4 and 5. 9, what are you doing? His appearance matches what I saw in the dream world, a tenacious-looking old man. I got the impression he was a shut-in of sorts before, but his current attire of a sweater and loose pants says the opposite. Numeral 11 and Federico remain hidden for some reason. Regardless, I've confirmed that Ushizuka's a bona fide participant. It's safe to say that I'm putting myself in danger if I stay any longer. As such, I slink back to the station, taking care not to bump into any of the others. Yep, wise move. And we're probably playing as someone else now, aren't we? Looks like we were right on the money. I whisper to Odette when the old-timer leaves his house. Yep, we're playing Federico again. Are we going to play as 4 or 5 at some point? Shush, you dumbass. She may have whispered, but she also slams her foot down on mine. Gotta admit, she's uncharacteristically cautious at times like this. You'd think someone massive like her would charge right in, but nope. She even keeps us a fair distance from the house to ensure we aren't seen. Granted, putting this much distance between us means she gets that her... No, granted, putting this much distance between us means she gets that her massive body doesn't lend itself to stealth. Yeah, no kidding. Enough about her. Let me recall how we ended up here in the first place. Yes, I'd be curious about that. Me and Odette had a talk about who to target after the third election, when that crazy thin Japanese lady got eliminated. Keiko. Of course, after that, they went after the 10-year-old, and now they're going after the... Guys, Alan, go after 12. What's wrong with you? Odette's intuition played a big part in us targeting Rose, so we still hadn't made use of the cards we were dealt at the beginning. True. Knowing there'd be a name or two among those initial cards, we decided to go after whoever was in my set. Normally, I'd be against showing off my cards, but Odette told me which card she'd taken from Ro immediately afterwards, so... Well, not like she chose to do that without planning to get something in return. Turns out I had that Russian kid's name card. Sophia something something. Yeah, it's hard to say. That kid had been through some rough stuff, but it ain't any of my concern. We took her parents hostage and Odette got her to spill her life story. Classy. Thing is, she implied that she had one of Odette's cards. Not only that, but Odette decided to give her some time to screw around. Time to let her get over her regret, really. Can't say why she did it, but there ain't no point in trying to get into that woman's head. I wouldn't have been able to learn that much about Sophia with just her name, so I decided not to complain. Had things gone according to plan, Odette would have eliminated Sophia, but that Miharu broad one-upped her. Make no mistake, Odette ain't the type to let something like that slow her down. We're the same in that regard. Plenty of things went awry for me back in Italy, but I never took issue with it. In fact, those situations are when people expose their worst side. You gotta make the most of that. Just like I said in the Court of Fate, 2 of the 3 cards dealt to me at the beginning belong to participants that have already been eliminated. Next up is numeral 5. Ah, that's how they found him. I'm gonna struggle with this. Ushizuka Shigetsugu. Odette had his name card, so we used it to dig up dirt on him, and here we are. So which card did I have that hadn't been eliminated? Was it Sophia's name? So now all Federico's cards are just worthless. Hey, Space Cadet, get it together. We're heading back. The hell? You saying we can't jump the old geezer now, make him squeal? That or we could break into his house while he's gone, see? You sure enough oxygen's reaching that brain of yours up in space? Ain't no one crazy enough to do that at this time of day, not unless they want to be caught and reported to the police. Don't forget, this is a residential district. We can't go wild like with Sophia and Ro. We gotta come back early in the morning or late at night. Only got yourself to blame for that. She smashes her foot down on mine again. Guess she isn't too pleased about the implication that she's the only one that stands out. We didn't get any worthwhile info here, did we? So you'd think, but it's easy to take a stab at how he died now that we've seen his house. How's that rundown shack gonna help? Oh, now I see where you're going. You're on point for once. Keep going. Figured she'd spill the beans if I acted like I caught on, but that didn't go quite as planned. Now I know not to even bother pretending. She smacks my shoulder before she continues. This is a lonely old man we're talking about, in a country that's become known for cases of the elderly being discovered dead in their homes, no less. Knowing how insular Japan and its people can be, that's probably why it happens so often. Hell, apparently they even have specialists to deal with the dead and rotting bodies too. Anyway, just remember what the woman told you. That's as big of a hint as you can get. Just remember what the woman told you. That fatty did enjoy running her mouth. Oh, did they talk to the gossip woman as well? They got a whole bunch of information out of her. We had enough class to not gossip about people in their homes, but that old lady. I think back to what she told me. Seems like there were rumors of him kicking the bucket since he rarely left the house. Starvation, huh? You think that's it? Insular as Japan may be, this is a developed country. Wouldn't have you gotten retirement or unemployment benefits or something? Under normal circumstances, maybe. The woman did mention that he had a bad back, right? Oh, maybe he hurt himself and couldn't leave his house. Yeah, that's right, she did. Don't know why she remembers more of this stuff than me when I was the one who talked to the woman. Don't underestimate lower back pain. A shipmate of mine suffered from it once and they couldn't bring themselves to move even an inch. So let's assume the geezer got hit by it out of nowhere. Well, ignoring the fact that it wouldn't be sudden if he'd been suffering from it before, but he don't got no one to call for help. Everyone's used to him staying inside, so they wouldn't bat an eyelid. Not like he's getting direct care from the government, just disability benefits, so no one there's going to come check on him. All it takes is a week without food or 3 days without water for someone to croak. Trust me. I can tell she's serious by the tone of her voice. Knowing what she's been involved in, I wouldn't be surprised if her crew had come close to starvation at some point. That, or she's seen it happen to one of her shipmates before. So basically, he starved to death after suffering from some crazy back pain, and all because no one was there to help him. It's possible, but would it really happen that quick? Whoa! A familiar light emanates from my book. Well, there you go. The sign that a new card's been made. The same thing happens for Odette, too. When she notices, she can't help but grin. It's honestly sickening just how good she is at this. Yeah, she is scary smart. Even so, he seemed well enough when he left just now. Same for that Russian kid. Guess that any participants with obvious symptoms are cured of them during divine selection. You're probably on the right track there. Chances are everyone's physical condition gets reverted to a time when they were healthy. She nods in reaffirmation after repeating what I said. I half expected her to say she doesn't care, so it takes me by surprise. Did she have something happen to her that she's healthier than she was? Her expression reverts to its usual state, and then she turns around. Alright, we got enough info for today. Let's head back. We head back the way we came, making sure not to be spotted by Ishizuka. Gotta practice Ishizuka. Is that it? Are we playing? Oh. Unbeknownst to Rinka. Damn, we're just having a party at this guy's house. Who hasn't been here? Miharu and 9. And that's it. God, this guy needs to hold a barbecue. All right, well, you know what? We had a massive long episode last time, so we're at almost the 1 hour mark. I think now is a good time to pack it in. Alan has been trailing us, and that makes sense because him having our name, maybe it took him a week to actually track down where we live, because he obviously ran into us at the hospital, but he has no way of knowing that we were actually working/living a few blocks away. But it looks like he's gotten a tail on us. I have a feeling he's going to stick to us, but it may be that he gets diverted into suspecting this guy. And that's kind of our fault because we let him here. Oh well, sucks to suck. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and wrap things up, and then we are going to catch back up with Alan, have a little more perspective with him. I like the pro tag swapping. It's interesting. Very interesting. And I'm curious again what 5 and 4 have been doing. If they are teaming up, what are they doing about it? They've taken no real action unless they've just been doing research on people that have gotten eliminated before they get a chance to do anything. Maybe they just have bad luck. And where the hell is 9? All questions that will need to be answered in the future, along with all the other ones I rambled about last video, but I'm glad to have cranked 2 out real quick. Again, I've been uploading the videos to the YouTube channel pretty routinely. I think it'll be about 2 a week, in addition to whatever stuff I can make time for. Make sure you're watching for that. Make sure you're following on Twitter so you know what the hell is going on. Make sure you catch my live streams on Twitch, if that interests you, because I continue to stream there. Maybe I'll stream again on YouTube sometime. That's kind of fallen by the wayside, but, you know, it's, I'm going to keep doing stuff. I like doing this. It's a fun little hobby. Even if it makes me no money, I want to be here for you guys. So, engage, follow, comment, like, all that good stuff. I will see you guys next time. As I said before to Miharu, take care.